Hey y'all, this is Libby. Today we were out doing our landscaping, cleaning out the flower beds and such. And we got to the azalea bushes. And there's a funny story behind the azalea bushes. They were my grandmother's azalea bushes, which would make them over 100 years old. Um, and so I've just been propagating off of those azalea bushes for years. I've had them. I've had them in my possession for about 45 years. I've had them in my possession about 45 years. We've moved them twice. Um, what we try to do is at the beginning of the spring, usually a little bit quicker than this, but life happens, is go in there and give her a good haircut so that she will produce more, look nice and full and give us a nice good bloom system. Because azaleas, you get that couple of week bloom period, and then the blooms kind of fall off, and then they might bloom back again and that kind of thing. They love the kind of partly shady area. They will grow in a sunny area. Just have to maintain the soil, and you have to maintain their water. They love water. Okay, so with all that being said, so let me just show you here. This is the overgrowth. I mean, look, I cut off this much, and this is a small piece that I cut off. And this is this year's growth. It has grown, that's a good 6 inches. And inside here is where it has at some point bloomed, and the blooms are still left on. So we don't need those. But whenever you get the new growth, you're going to get it looking like that. That's your new growth in there. And this is last year's growth. So you're going to have kind of a Y right there. See where that Y is? Now we're propagating these, okay? We're going to make new azalea bushes out of them. So you strip all of the leaves from last year off. So you're going to have a stick, and then you're going to have your new growth here. Now, it's important to know that whenever you propagate something, you're going to cut it at an angle. You're going to cut, just at an angle. And y'all know I have that metal in my hand, so it's kind of hard for me to cut it at an angle. When I cut it originally, I just cut it really jagged. But you can see they're nice and healthy. All right, so we're going to cut this at an angle. Just to see. We want to, if you can see these little nodes right here, we want to have at least 4 of those little nodes on the stick. And don't be afraid to cut her. So there she's at a nice angle, right? Now, I use this. It looks like pond scum. I don't get paid to endorse or anything. This is just what I use. It's called rooting compound, and see, it looks like pond scum, right? But it lasts forever. And you just make sure that your stem is dry. And when you put this into the soil, you're going to put the beveled side towards the inside of the pot. Now, I've already got my pot here. And this is, I use Miracle Grow. And it does have some Pedialyte in there. I did not fill up the pot because we're just propagating. And that's just a waste of soil. Oh gosh, this is a pot that had a lily in it before. How about that? We reuse our pots. Oh, that's the thing about it. You can reuse your pots, but always wash them before you reuse them. I know that sounds stupid, but if the plant you had in that pot previously had parasites or some kind of fungi on it, you don't know that. So wash it, a little bit of soap and water, rinse it out, let it dry, bam, go again. All right, so here we go. Here's the pot. And you're gonna make a, wherever you're gonna put that one. I'm gonna put like 4 or 5 in here. Just take it and stick your finger down in there, like a little hole, so you can stick this azalea piece in there without the rooting compound coming off. Oh gosh. Okay, so there you go. And I twirl mine. Some people stick theirs in there, and see, it comes, that's what it looks like. Alright, so you got that. I'm going right in my hole, right straight down in my hole. I can't show you this part because I don't have 3 hands, but I stick it in there. I put those nodes under the ground, then I pull my potting soil back on to the stem, and the next thing is press it down in there really good. My grandma used to explain this to me as, don't leave any air bubbles. Air bubbles are bad. That's the way she said. So you just pat it in there like that. And let's see if I can get over here to show you. See there? It's in there really well. No air bubbles. And I think I'm going to probably put 2 more maybe in here. But whenever I go to take these out in about, I'll check on them in about 3 weeks, and then probably move them on into their next pot in about a month. But I do propagate them together. When they're the same plant, and you know, you can save that way. All right, so here's the next one. So I'm just taking off the old, leaving on the new, and then you have that stem, and then the forked tongues. All right. Oh, I already cut that one at an angle. There you go. I was ready for that one. All right, so make my little wormhole with my finger down in there, and the soil will just come back, and you can just poke your finger in there, and it leaves a nice little hole. And here we go with our rooting compound. Swirl, swirl, swirl. And there's your pond scum. You hear Alan in there listening to that. I don't know what he's listening to. But keep these watered, but don't water them too much. It's going to be really hot, and azaleas do love their water. I think we can get 1 more in there. What do you think? I think we can get 1 more in there. One reason I put more than 1 in a pot when I'm rooting is the fuller the pot, the roots will touch one another, and when they touch one another, they tend to like run into one another and say, oh, there you are, I'll turn around and go the other way, and you get more roots that way. I know it's silly, but it works. It works. It's a method that works, you know. It seems to produce more roots the more you have in a pot. You just got to be careful whenever you take them out. And we'll go through the whole thing about taking them out, because I take them out with my fingers, you know. That's why I always have crappy fingers. Okay, here's another one. I'll just get all the old off. I know this is going to be boring, isn't it? Okay, well, I cut that one whenever I was doing it. So see there? That's good. And then in goes the pond scum. See, this will last forever. And in goes the finger exam. Yes, there we go. And in goes the azaleas. These happen to be pink azaleas. They're a bright, bright pink azalea. You know what? I can get one more in here. By Jovie, I'm gonna do it. I am gonna make this little thing work for me. Make it work for you, okay? We got all the old leaves off. I did cut that one too. I don't know what got into me. There we go. And into our rooting compound. There we go. And then into the hole. You're wondering what that white thing is on my wrist, aren't you? Yeah. I knew you was. That's where they put the plate in my wrist when the screws and the nuts and bolts, when my body rejected the nuts and bolts. So, and it was hurting a little bit because I was throwing so much mulch and digging stuff up. And I don't like to take medication, so I put a lidocaine patch on there. Okay, now she's a full little azalea propagating plant. And so I'll put her on the shelves with the propagating plants and water her accordingly, and sit her out in the sunshine and all that kind of thing. And we will have 4 azalea plants ready to go in about 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, if you need some azalea plants, just know that these have a long background. They're over 100 years old, and they're still producing like crazy. I do not know the name of it. I probably could Google it. But anyway, they're the really bright pink azaleas. They're not the doubles. These are the singles. And, yeah, they're very, very pretty. So, just keep watching out, because I am going to make either a page or something that has to do with all the information about plants that you'd ever want to know or not know. And it might be something you like. It's something you can use in your garden or your whatever, you know. It'll be house plants. It'll be outdoor plants. Maybe even be a couple of trees and stuff like that. So, you know, got to get your hands in the dirt and your feet in the dirt and live life as it comes, right? Well, I'll see you next time. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. And if you perchance want some of this 100-year-old azalea in bright pink, just hit me up. You know, I'll have it until somebody purchases it, or I give it away at the hospital or something like that. But, you know, there's always some more. It just takes about 4 or 6 weeks to get a good, I'd say 6 weeks, that I would want to keep it so that I could make sure that it was going to live, you know. I wouldn't want to give you something that was just, I wasn't sure it was going to live. I would want it to have a really strong root system. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll see y'all later, and y'all just watch for these posts and enjoy yourselves. And when I start going live, it'll be more fun. We can talk and be sisters and share our little tips and tricks and secrets. So you have a good night, and I will see you next time. I don't know what we'll be propagating, planting. We'll be doing something interesting. So, okay, see you, love. Bye.